What are the top new cars and SUVs that are coming out in the next year that you might want to wait for? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. For this video, I'm going to share all the latest upcoming new cars and SUVs that are coming in 2024 and 2025. So if you're planning on purchasing a new vehicle within the next year or so, these are the latest models that you might want to wait for. But before getting into it, remember, if you enjoy and get value out of this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. So let's start off with the new models that are coming from Mazda, with the first one being the Mazda CX-50 Hybrid. The CX-50 was launched back in 2022, initially only with a 4-cylinder engine or a 4-cylinder turbo. But at the time of its launch, Mazda also announced that a hybrid version would be available in the future, and the new hybrid version is likely going to hit the market sometime in 2024, probably as a 2025 model. And this is really big news because the CX-50 Hybrid is most likely going to be using a hybrid system that's borrowed from Toyota. And because Toyota makes some of the best hybrids on the market when it comes to fuel economy and also reliability, the CX-50 Hybrid should be a really impressive and attractive SUV. But that's not the only exciting new launch from Mazda within the next year or so. Another model that's also going to be coming is the CX-70, which should be a 5-seater mid-sized SUV that's positioned between the CX-50 and the CX-90 3-row SUV. Now, we don't know too much about the CX-70 at this time, but it's most likely going to be very similar to the CX-60 that's already sold in other markets, just with different styling that's going to be a little bit more stylish and more luxurious. It should continue to use the same inline 6-cylinder engine and offer the same plug-in hybrid system that's already available on the larger CX-90. I think both the CX-70 and the CX-50 Hybrid are going to be really impressive SUVs that are definitely worth waiting for. But for now, let's move on to the next car brand, which is Honda. And the first exciting new model that's coming out from Honda is the Civic Hybrid. Now again, not too many details are available on the Civic Hybrid at the time of this recording, but most likely it's going to be very similar to the Civic Hybrid that's already sold in other markets around the world. It will likely have a very similar hybrid system that's already used on the Honda Accord and the Honda CR-V, only in a smaller and lighter package, which means the Civic Hybrid should be even more fuel efficient and have even better performance. Honda is also going to be launching their first all-electric SUV, which is going to be a mid-sized SUV called the Honda Prologue. It's going to be roughly the same size as the Honda Passport, which means it should have a lot of interior space and cargo space. And it's also going to have an all-electric range of roughly around 300 miles or close to 500 kilometers. Acura is also going to get their own version of this SUV, which is going to be called the ZDX or ZDX, which is basically going to run on the same platform, just with Acura styling and a more luxurious interior. In the case of both SUVs, they are going to be using electric car technology that's borrowed from General Motors, using the same Ultium platform that's already been launched on many different GM models. And that should be a good thing because GM's Ultium battery platform is actually very impressive, and it's also going to be underpinning the next new SUVs that are coming within the next year, and those are the Chevrolet Equinox EV and the Chevy Blazer EV. If you really want to have an all-electric SUV for your next vehicle, the Equinox EV might be a good choice to look at. It's expected to start in the low $30,000 range in the US, or in the high $30,000 range in Canada, which would make it pretty aggressive in terms of pricing. It's also going to be available in either front-wheel or all-wheel drive, and with a standard or long-range battery pack with up to around 300 miles or nearly 500 kilometers of range. The same is also true of the Blazer EV, only it is going to be a little bit more expensive because this is a larger mid-sized SUV that should also have better performance. If you really want to have an electric vehicle for your next vehicle purchase, there are certainly a lot of new launches to look forward to in the next year or so, and that also includes the next vehicle, which is the Kia EV9. Now this one should be available by the end of 2024, much earlier than most of the other vehicles on this list. And for those who don't know, this is going to be an all-electric SUV with a driving range of up to around 300 miles or 480 kilometers of range. And in terms of size, the EV9 should be very similar to the 3-row Telluride, which means it should have plenty of interior space and cargo space. Pricing should start in the mid $50,000 range in the US or in the mid $60,000 range in Canada, and it should go a lot higher than that once you add in options. But if you're not ready to go all electric and you'd rather have a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, then you might want to wait for the next SUV, which is the Hyundai Santa Fe. The Santa Fe is going to have an all-new design for 2024, and it's going to initially be available with either a 2.5 turbo engine or as a hybrid. In addition to having completely new styling that's dramatically different from the old Santa Fe, this is also going to be a much larger SUV with 3-row seating. So it's not only going to be more stylish, but also a lot more practical as well. And of course, being a Hyundai, it should have class-leading interior technology. At a later time, the new Santa Fe should also be offered as a plug-in hybrid, which should have around double the electric range of the previous generation, which means it should travel around 60 miles or 100 kilometers on electric power before switching to hybrid mode. And if that's the case, that should put the Santa Fe plug-in hybrid near the top of the class when it comes to plug-in hybrid performance, but we'll just have to wait and see for now. For now, let's move on to the next vehicles on the list from Volvo that are worth waiting for, and those are the EX30 and the EX90. Now these are going to be all-electric SUVs. The EX90 is going to be the most affordable one in the lineup, and the most affordable Volvo to buy in a very long time. If you want a small, luxurious SUV that's all-electric, then the EX30 might be worth waiting for. But if you need something that's a lot more practical, then the EX90 is going to be the one to look at. This is going to be a large 3-row SUV, very similar to the XC90. Either way, if you're a fan of Volvo and want to have an all-electric vehicle in the near future, the EX30 or the EX90 might be worth waiting for. Now the next vehicle we have is also an all-electric vehicle, and that is the Volkswagen ID Buzz. Now I have to admit, I'm not always the biggest fan of Volkswagen when it comes to most of their mainstream vehicles, but the ID Buzz does seem a lot more interesting than most. This, of course, is a retro vehicle that's inspired by the Volkswagen bus from the 1950s and 1960s, only with a modern spin with updated styling and an all-electric drivetrain. The North American version of the ID Buzz is going to be a 3-row vehicle, so it should be surprisingly practical and spacious. The ID Buzz is going to be available in North America in early 2024, and even though pricing was not available at the time of this recording, if Volkswagen prices this thing really aggressively, then it should definitely attract a lot of attention. Now moving away from electric vehicles for a moment, next up on the list we have the new vehicles coming from Toyota. And without a doubt, the most exciting launch that's going to be coming within the next year is the Toyota Land Cruiser. The all-new Land Cruiser is going to be available in early 2024. And in traditional Land Cruiser form, this is going to be a mid-sized SUV that's built on a body-on-frame platform with a full-time 4-wheel drive system. But unlike Land Cruisers of the past, this all-new Land Cruiser is only going to be sold with a hybrid drivetrain. And not only that, but it's also going to be a 4-cylinder hybrid. Although that might sound a little bit unusual for some, the new hybrid system is still going to have really impressive performance, and it should also dramatically improve the fuel economy of the Land Cruiser as well. Another exciting off-road SUV that's going to be launching in 2024 is the all-new Lexus GX. Running on the same platform as the Land Cruiser, this should also be a very capable off-road SUV, only with a much more luxurious interior and also a more powerful drivetrain underneath the hood, thanks to a larger V6 engine that's also turbocharged. Another Lexus SUV that's launching towards the end of the year into early 2024 is the Lexus TX, which is going to be a large 3-row SUV that's based off of the Toyota Grand Highlander. Other new vehicles to look forward to that are launching in 2024 and 2025 is the all-new 2025 Toyota Camry, which should have a very similar design and similar technology to the recently released Toyota Crown. Toyota is also going to be releasing an all-new RAV4 sometime in 2024 as well, likely as a 2025 model. And that's also the case with Subaru, which should also be launching an all-new version of the Forester sometime in 2024. The most exciting update for the all-new Forester will be whether it's finally going to be available as a hybrid. there have been rumors that Toyota is going to be giving their hybrid system to Subaru for the all-new Forester, but details for that are unfortunately still not available. So even though the market seems to definitely be going in the direction of electrification, with a lot of all-electric vehicles that are hitting the market in the next couple of years, there are still many traditional vehicles to look forward to. Whether you want to go with a regular gas engine, a hybrid, or a plug-in hybrid, there are a lot of options still available. So based on this list of vehicles that are coming in the near future, which of these vehicles would you consider purchasing? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my other videos by clicking these links over here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. And if you need additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to follow carhelpcanada.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.